Hello, this is Joanne Chambers, and this is MPA 594 with Dr. Sundstrom, week 6, talking about 4 concepts that we need to know that relates to the GPA and PSML concepts. This is my agenda. I will start with 530, MPA 530, the Public Finance and Budgeting. And we will talk about block grants that are federal grants given to the states to finance activities in a broadly functional areas. Programs funded by block grants include health programs such as mental health services, prevention of and treatment of substance abuse, crime control, services such as child care, social services, low-income housing, and energy assistance and aid for the needy in the form of temporary assistance for needy families. The federal welfare reform came about in 1996 to replace the aid to families with dependent children with the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. The block grants are based on the population of needy families in the state and the state size. In order to retain block grants, the state must be within federal guidelines of certain performance goals to receive the funds. More than half of the welfare recipients must be employed or employable to meet the standards of the block grant distribution, or they face sanctions. In MPA 540 is the conflict resolution and labor negotiation class. There are core principles to a successful mediator, which also aligns with successful leadership. So the mediators need to be impartial. They must focus on what is best for the disputing parties and not impart their own beliefs. They must have empathy. They should display empathy at the appropriate points to let the parties know they understand what matters. The effectiveness as a questioner, they ask insightful questions to uncover certain concerns and interest that underline positional statements. Our valued reputation. The best mediators have good reputations and demonstrate records of success. If the mediator loses the reputation of being honest and fair and impartial, it will take a long time for them to build that up again. And also, with successful leadership, they need to have confidentiality. A good mediator or leader needs to honor the confidentiality of the information shared by the disputants or employees. This includes information shared during the mediation sessions and the information shared with others in the community after the mediation session is complete. In MPA 520, which is part of the PSML, there are 9 leading values of a leadership's ethics. I will just go over a few. The integrity that they have is dependent upon the level of ethical and character consistency across the actions and growth of a person. The respect can be infused in all expectations, giving them a strong moral cast. Respect entails legitimate demands for competency and improvement from individuals. Truthfulness and honesty. Effective leadership requires that managers understand the full extent of their and facts at any given situation. For truthfulness and honesty, there is even more vital because the tendency of the human mind and groups that hide disconfirming or painful information. And in 540, which is Human Resource Management for the Public Sector, which is PSML, it talks about procedural due process and taking of property and liberty. In the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment, it forbids the taking of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. The property includes the right to continue public employment referred to as property interest. When an employee has a property interest in a job, they also have procedural due process rights. In a Cleveland Board of Education versus Loudermill in 1995, the Supreme Court held that the due process demanded an additional middle step, a pre-termination hearing. Before making a decision, the employer must give the employee notice of change and an explanation. An explanation. That is my last PowerPoint. I want to thank everybody who has helped out me throughout this course. And I want you to know that if you commit your way to the Lord, you trust in Him and He will act. And we will do very well at the end of this course and be graduating next week. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate your comments.